Welcome to the Get to Know broadcast. I want to thank you all for taking time to come and join me this evening. Um, we have a special guest this evening. We have Mr. Joshua T. Berglan. This is a person that I have known at least 4 years, and I'm just so pleased to be able to introduce you to him. It's going to be a great show. You want to get down some notes, so get some paper, get a pen, and get ready for a lot of information. Um, Recently, well, some of you may or may not know, I was at the point where I was just ready to quit doing social media. I'm done. I'm over. I took about a 2-year break, but the thing is that I decided, because Joshua reached out to me, he says, "Don't quit." And in my other videos, I said, "Don't quit." Quitters don't quit. Uh, Winners don't quit. So it's like, well, I want to be a winner. So that's what I did. I decided, you know what? It's important to me to do this. This is the Get to Know broadcast. I've done these before. You can certainly, as well, go to Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple and Android TV and watch this broadcast. You just need to download the E360 TV application and you can do that. And it's going to be awesome. Now, uh, there's, I, I do things without a major script. And the reason why I do is because I think I've been given the information that I need to have to be able to go ahead and do something, because I'm inspired to talk about a particular subject. And tonight we're talking with Joshua, and he is a fantastic guy. I said a few months back, he reached out to me. He said, "Hey, guess what? You shouldn't quit." And so I didn't. And here I am. And here he is. I'm going to bring him on stage in just a moment here. And we were having some audio problems. Hopefully, we've got that straightened out, but let's just find out. All right, let's bring you on.
Tell me you can hear me.
I can hear you.
All right, good. I switched to I was trying to use the Arc browser, and I guess that was the issue. So I just switched to Chrome, and
Okay.
I don't know why StreamYard you still have to use Chrome, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I
Thank you for having me.
I can't use my Safari app for it. No. So I am so grateful that you're here, Joshua. This is going to be a great show. It really, truly is. Um, I'm just going to say, hey, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Let's start with that.
No.
Oh, don't talk about
No, I don't listen. This is you're an interviewer.
I am.
And so
Okay.
I'm gonna say actually I want to take the here's what I'm gonna say.
You can turn it on.
If you have a podcast and you're not preparing yourself ahead of time to be able to ask questions, you're wasting your guest time. I'm not talking to you, Steven. I'm not talking to just you. I'm talking to everyone listening.
Yeah.
You're wasting your guest time, because what's going to happen is this.
What?
I'm not challenging. I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to take the microphone. I'm going to hijack your show. I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. You're not going to be able to shut me up. See, you just gave me the whole screen. So like literally the way that you asked this question, and this is for all hosts out there, you just basically gave your permission to the guest to hijack your show and take it over. If you're going to have a show, the best value, and you're doing it to provide value for people, the most value that you can offer is literally preparing for the interview to ask them questions. And if you want that guest to promote your show to their audience, which is the other reason why people do these type of interview shows, is to expand their audience, then create something that's worth sharing, and create something that guest is like, wow, I'm proud because that interviewer got the best out of me. They asked me unique questions that I've never been asked before. And that's my expectation. Like when I do interviews, I spend more time preparing questions than the broadcast lasts. And I take this serious because there's a real opportunity for people right now, especially those of you that built your own platforms and you learned how live streaming worked and you learned how to multi-purpose. You guys have an advantage we have an advantage that the old school media people don't have. And yeah, some of them are catching up. Some of them have teams, and you guys are used to doing everything yourself. Let me tell you something. The future's set up for people that are generalist. The people that know how to do every function of a media organization are going to be the ones that are the most successful. And that's a fact. It's a fact. So anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox and I'm going to let you ask me questions instead
I
of
do
letting me
have
talk about
questions.
myself. Because here's the thing. I don't want to make myself look like a complete idiot, and I can go down some directions that some people may not be ready for. By
Right?
you asking questions, you're also preparing the audience to be punched in the stomach or enlightened or whatever. So ask me questions and don't let me hijack your show. You're the host.
You're
Set the
funny.
boundary. You're the boss. Now ask me questions.
And I've seen people do it, and yeah. Well, who's running the show? Okay,
I would
so
run your show. I would run anyone's show. As I don't get invited back to shows, or I never even talk to the host again because
right.
they don't ask me questions. They give me open-ended stuff, and then I just take over for an hour and a half. And that's not cool for them, but it wasn't cool for me to not be asked questions. So ask the questions.
Exactly.
And listen, everyone who knows me knows there's nothing off limits. So we can
Right.
go any direction you want to go, but
All
ask me questions, please.
the question. All right, I'm going to start out with the who, what, and why, because that's what this show is about.
Okay.
It's about who are you, what are you doing, and why are you doing it?
Okay. So what's the question? Because you asked me 3. What's the first question?
Who are you?
My name is Joshua Tyler Berglan. It's on my birth certificate.
Why are you doing this, Joshua?
What am I doing? I'm on your show right now.
Well, yeah. So what we're trying to do is educate the viewers about what you're doing and how you've done it, because I've watched you for many years now.
Do what though? You're not asking me questions. You're generalizing things. Specifically, what is it that I'm doing? Because if you go to my website, I'm doing 150 other things. I'm serious. Go. Everyone can go look at it. Because
right there.
In fact, one of the audience asked questions that are more specific.
That could be
I
good.
do 50 things, man. Like, what is it specifically? Talk to me.
Okay, specifically, what is this fourth industrial revolution that you're talking about?
What is the what?
Fourth industrial revolution and media in a box.
Okay, so that's 2 different questions. And the fourth industrial revolution is the world that we're in it now, but we're not. Now that Trump is in office, we're going to see an acceleration of technology, and that's just the kind of an educated fact, I guess. It's there's no guarantees because God could pull the plug on all of us and us not see it. So I don't want to speak in absolutes, but I will tell you that considering that the most powerful people in this world run technology companies, it would safe to say that we live in a technocracy where the technology companies have more power than actual governments. And the reason why is because they have all the data, because data is the real currency. And if you want to have power in this world, it's data. And the technology companies have it because we gave it to them. And so the opportunity in the fourth industrial revolution, though, is that we get power of our data back. But the only way to do that is to quit relying on these social media platforms and go all in on our own platforms, like creating our own media company in a boxes. So the fourth industrial revolution is just another revolution, but it's also Agenda 2030, the United Nations, what their view of the future world is. And every country that is a part of the United Nations agreed to this way of life. And so while people are getting caught up in the current events and the things that they're seeing, if they pulled back 10,000 feet, they would actually see that there's something else taking place. It's not what you're being shown in your media. And yes, there's fires. Yes, there's disasters, but you have to understand what's taking place on the other side of these things. And then you can start asking more educated questions instead of getting caught up in the moment of what you're seeing and reacting to what you're seeing. Just know that an agenda has been at play. I mean, for a long time, but Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 have been playing out for the last several years in a great way. The Great Reset has been in motion A new financial system's coming, a new way of life is living, and that is what Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 are about. We're going to see smart cities. We're going to see technology like kind of like the Jetsons. I mean, we're going to have different worlds that we're going to live in. We're going to see more community living, meaning we're going to have communities online in our Web3, in our virtual reality spaces, our metaverse spaces, our verse spaces, our omniverse spaces. We're going to have lives there, and we're going to have lives in real life, and it's going to be very community driven. And a large part of that is because the direction we're heading is a world of smart cities. And go ahead.
I was going to say, yes, we are moving towards smart cities, and it always seems like, particularly the coastlines, have a lot of people versus the rural areas. And that's where electric vehicles, I think, come in, because at this point, they can't go very far before you need that charge. But what would you say is your motivation? I know that you call yourself the world's mayor. So tell us what that motivation is.
So, for as much as I like to be behind a mic and talk and be on stage and talk, and there's nothing that brings me more joy than elevating other people and using the gifts that God blessed me with to do that. And I mean, anyone who's ever had me MC their event, they know that I have a different style, but I take a lot of pride in how I introduce people. The same way I take pride in when I do a broadcast, which, I'm not going to be doing, that many of them. As much as I love them, I'm, because of my situation, I want to be very careful how I spend my energy, and I want to focus more on what God called me to do. Now, I love to broadcast, I love to MC, I love to speak, but nothing brings me more joy than I have to talk a little bit about so when God shows me something for someone and I speak life into them, I think a lot of people that are blessed with that, get that opportunity to be able to speak life into people because God shows you something for them.
Right.
They can attest how much it hurts when they don't take you serious because they just think it's a crazy person telling them, but that's speaking right to their heart in a way that only God could, right? Because that's how God
Right.
works.
Yes.
It was like this amazing thing, but for most of my life, it scared the crap out of people. And but to have someone listen and hear what is being said and feel it and then go do something about it, I can't tell you how amazing that feels, because that is like the closest you can ever get to God, I think. Not me being God, meaning that I was in partnership with God. I got to be a vessel and speak into someone's life, and then they go, yeah, I feel that, I'm gonna go do it. And there's certain people in my life that have done that, but the majority have not. Like Jessica is somebody that before we ever got together, I remember having a vision for her, and I didn't know I was in the vision, but I shared with her, and she took it serious and did something about it. You are someone that took it and did something about. I have students, mentees in all parts of Africa, in India, that have done that, and to see their progress, like that brings me more joy than anything I could accomplish for myself. Like, I want to see the underserved soar. I want to see the underserved's dreams come true. That's why I serve in the way that I do, and I talk the way that I do, because I want to see the underserved empowered. And here's the thing, no one took me serious about this. Like, anyone who knew me before I got kicked off social media multiple times, like when I was teaching media and I was telling people this is the future, like I was giving it away for free at the expense of my family, at the expense of sanity and everything else. And no one took me serious except for people. Oh, I don't know what just happened. except for people like that were desperate. And like the desperate people.
I think you're talking about, because I have this feeling of I will help people that want the hand up, not the people that want the hand out, because of course there's plenty of people that will hand
no. I was saying I was ignored. I was saying I was ignored. I wasn't being heard. And I was sending a message that was
Yes.
for everyone's benefit. And so now more people are listening, which is the greatest blessing. But here's what I know. It took for me that, and I'm doing way better now. I mean, you've seen my head bobble a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I'm like way better than I was. But to be able to see like like to know that people with disabilities, like with media literacy, like I lost so many different ways that I earned money. I lost because I couldn't talk normal. Because the more I talked, the more the tremors would get, and then my throat would swell up where I couldn't breathe. And then I'm like, I mean, I've had some really scary moments when this went on. But here was the thing. This is a beautiful thing about how God uses suffering sometimes for blessings, because I lost the ability to speak. So what I did, because I was media literate, because I know all of the different ways to use media for monetization, I started writing. And I wrote 7 books last year.
Wow.
And I did it while even though I couldn't do video and those things, but there was other ways that I could still get my message out and be heard and have an impact and still do what God created me to do. And so the thing about that is that that's the same for everyone, not just me. Not just me. It doesn't matter if you're mentally ill. It doesn't matter if you're disabled. It doesn't matter if you're homeless or don't have any money. You can be a part of this new economy simply by becoming media literate and learning how to use your gifts, talents, and intellectual property. That's your intellectual property is your content. And when you're media literate and you understand all of the different avenues of omni media, because virtual reality is part of media,
right?
You learn how to use all of that. You start to realize, oh my gosh, I can get my own platform set up and I can do it with very little money. Like, you spend too much money on your stuff. You spend way more money than I do. And I self-host. Like I monetize my, like on my platform, it's all under a paywall. There's free stuff we give away. There's free books. There's free resources.
Yes.
But there's all of the revenue streams are built in there. The minute you put something on social media, this show, there's no value or no. You can't protect the value of this because you're on Facebook with this right now. This is not yours. You do not own this. You give that up
because it's going through E360 TV.
No, you don't.
You don't think?
No, I know for a fact you don't.
Okay, yes. All right. So I'm learning, folks. I mean, I truly am learning. No, thank you for teaching.
You guys are, listen, everyone that's giving away their premium content on social media.
Yes.
Like, you are basically saying, I don't have value. Yes, you may have sponsors.
Yes.
But you could have sponsors on your own self-hosted platform, or you could just have a small fee to watch. Because if you're creating quality content, then you can host it on your own platform. People will want to watch quality content, but the reason why you use clips and other things like that, you use that to market your platform. You put your website link into the clip, and that's what you use social media for. Is clips. And that on social media, no one wants to watch a full-length broadcast. They get barely the attention to watch 5 seconds. So
if you get 5 seconds, you're doing well, right?
No, that's crap.
I know it is.
It's not like it's not a real relationship. But if you create a platform in an environment that people don't want to leave, that's the future. Okay, if Twitter, if Facebook, if X, if all Twitter is X, LinkedIn, like, think about this. They're putting games on their platform. X is about to become a bank. Boy, that's a fun story to talk about. But like, they're creating all of these things because they want you to stay on their platform all the time. So if the social media people who basically don't have any good intentions with us, if they're doing that to us, why wouldn't we create something similar for our own communities?
So how does independent media fit into this
That
versus
is independent media.
Hmm?
That is independent media. That's
Yeah,
independent omni media, independent self-hosting,
yeah.
taking your premium content. Like I let Amazon publish some of my stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I have my own publishing platform where I have an immersive reading platform on my website. And so I can sell my books for less money on my website, but I
Right.
get to keep 100% of the money.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
understand.
like and with why would you want to split with Amazon? Because here's the thing: if you don't pay to play on these platforms,
Yeah.
they're going to bury your content anyway. So why wouldn't you just bet on yourself
Yeah.
and create a platform that other people want to come and hang out at?
That
Like
makes
that's
a
the
lot of
future.
sense. I just know I have a lot of learning yet to do. Um, I mean, the plan is for it to be on my website, and I just haven't figured out necessarily the aspect of the network who does that. And see, you know so much more than I do about production and the media, and so I'm learning, and that's what's awesome is that I get to learn from you, and that's part of the show is that I do these shows really for other people, but you know what? I do them for myself. That's really
Same way
why
to
I,
learn. I learn from my guests too. I
yeah.
only pick people that fascinate me or I feel led to interview. I want to say
Or
something.
that you can pick on is okay, right? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Those of you that are on E360, and I'm going to speak, and
Yeah.
I used to be VP of E360, and I love Aaron
Yeah.
and Aggie. I love what
Yeah.
they do there. I can't say enough about
Right.
them. I love them. But all of the hosts there that I know
Right.
of are not taking advantage of one of the greatest tools that E360 has, and that's their embedded player.
Right.
That embedded player is amazing, and you should be hosting that on your website, like on a
Yeah.
web page, and putting in a blog and having their player having the transcript of the interview. If it's a Q&A, doing like a Q&A style blog,
Right.
and then attach a podcast to it too. And then like that is their player is amazing. It has great SEO that you can build in. You can build in the hashtags and the keywords to it. I mean, and I'm sure it's more advanced now than it was when I was there. So
I'm planning to talk to them tomorrow. I mean, I did tonight's the first show that we did with them. And I'm planning to talk to them tomorrow. I've been talking to Aaron and looking forward to, the future. And I hopefully I plan this time around because I did this for years before, but this time around I just want to do it right. And clearly you seem to have it right. And so that's what I have to do is listen to you and learn.
okay, I'm going to throw another tip out here for you all to listen. If you want to totally transform the way that you do blogs and you're familiar with your chatbot, learn or prompts for
Hmm.
building web pages and blogs in HTML and including even doing your images that way. There's a website called IMUR. It's where you can upload images there, and that's how you can get the file name.
Hmm.
And if you want to be able to embed an image instead of doing a traditional upload, it helps your page, in my experience anyway. And I haven't looked
Hmm.
this up. I've just noticed that my page and my website is way faster now, and it can hold more content because it's all in code, essentially in
Right.
HTML, CSS, and so it feels lighter, it moves quicker, and plus the design aspect of it,
Hmm.
you can do some really neat things in it. You can build the blogs faster, you can build
Hmm.
websites faster. It's a way better process, and so I highly recommend building that and you using the HTML from your video player, whether it's YouTube or Muse AI, which I use Muse AI for my self-hosting. And but E360's player is great. You can embed that, use the HTML, then you can use the HTML for the podcast player, and then HTML for the blog, and you mix it with cool images. Like you can really make some cutting edge, cool looking, futuristic blogs that will set you apart from other people. Yeah, I that's one recommendation I have for everyone. And if you're just doing a podcast, meaning just the audio, you're wasting your time. If you're just doing a blog in a podcast, it's a little bit better use of your time. But the facts are that you should be pairing the video, transcript, and audio together. It's great. Plus, it's more value for your guest, and it's more value for sponsors and affiliate relationships and other things, and it makes a prettier, more beautiful presentation.
It's wonderful. That's really good information. I really appreciate you sharing that. And I mean, that's kind of the idea. I mean, we don't want to give everything away for free, but I know that you care about people, and that's what's beautiful. Um, and you are a man of God. That's why I followed you in the first place way back when. And now you're doing the you know, media center in a box. You've got a new book out. Why don't you tell us about your new book, and how is that different from media company in a box? I think I said that right.
Media Company in a Box is the original book, and
Right.
we just got translated and published in Hindi
Oh,
yesterday. Well,
wow.
actually, submitted yesterday. So
Yeah.
anyway, very excited about that. I have a partner in India help me because I don't speak,
Mhm.
but we have some projects going on in India that I'm very excited about, especially with media and in the school system there, which is very exciting. We have a deal working right now that would be a huge blessing. But the Bridge to Media Empowerment is the curriculum for the Bridge Media Empowerment Centers. And those of you who remember when I was doing circles around the Morgan Camera Shop on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, where I get the vision for this came, like this is what that is. We're doing these all over the world. I have an amazing partnership with Microtron AI, who does a lot of amazing things in technology. A lot of brand new inventions that the world has not seen yet are coming out. They have a part of their company works with the Department of Defense. In other words, they're on the defense side, so they do some really out there futuristic technologies, and having them as a partner is a huge deal. But part of our goal here, just like the Morgan Camera Shop that's abandoned, has been abandoned for over 20 years, we want to go into these communities around the world and take over abandoned areas and revitalize them. And we're going to do it with the all of the philosophy, because Media Company in a Box is not only a philosophy, it's proven. It's a proven philosophy, but the Bridge to Media Empowerment book is the curriculum, and there's less personality in the book, and I'm not trying to undersell it, but Media Company in a Box, you really get to the heart of why. And there's a lot of my personality in the book, and anyone who's read it, which you can read for free on my website, or you can buy it from anywhere you want to buy it from as far as where it's published, but it's free on my website. And there's a reason why. But
You know what I was shocked about is it's the only thing I've ever seen that has all of the information. I mean, everything that you would want to know is there. The links are there. You can go and get this information and learn more. And truthfully, I need to learn more because, there was so much in that book, but the links, it's like, who publishes that? Nobody wants to tell you that stuff.
hey, by the way, that's actually thank you. That's one of the most important things you could have said about the book, because I realize, and there's a reason why no one had listened to me for 10 years, is because it sounds crazy. It sounds insane.
It's not, though.
The reason why is because I know y'all didn't go to the United Nations website and read all of Agenda 2030. I know you didn't read all of Agenda 21. I know you listen to sound bites and you listen to what you see on social media, but you don't actually watch the whole conference to know exactly what's going on. I'm the psychopath who does that. Why? Because I'm a conspiracy theorist. Actually,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a conspiracy within the conspiracy theorist. I don't even trust conspiracy theorists. I don't share my views with people because, like, it's a waste of time. I would just rather educate people on the future that's coming so that they're prepared
Right.
and they can take advantage of it. Because here's the fact. Here's the fact. What I'm teaching works. Number two, that everything I'm teaching in that book and everything I'm suggesting that you do is backed up by research of every global organization you can think of. I didn't
Yeah.
make up anything. Yes, it came, a lot of what I have came from visions I've had since I was a child. But those visions also led me to researching and asking questions and going, wait a second, something doesn't seem right. And just keep asking questions and asking questions. Heck, I got in trouble when I was in ministry because I kept asking questions and I kept being told to stay in my lane. You don't tell someone like me to stay in my lane because I'm going to keep asking questions because I want the truth.
Right.
And I'm not somebody that's going to sit there and go, oh God, we're going to be enslaved. Oh no, the transhumanists are going to get us. The technocrats are going to enslave us and take our soul. VR is the devil. No, no. I want to find solutions for people, and the book is a solution.
Yes.
But there's one other thing. And so, but I wanted to verify it with all of the research. That's why it's all in there, is to
Mhm.
say, I'm not crazy. And this is what I've been trying to tell you that you could have been reading yourself and prepared yourself. But I'm thankful you didn't because God gave me the recipe, not you. But it's in my books and it is for you. And the other thing, too, I want to say that's more important than anything to do with media and monetization and any of that other stuff, even more important than gifts and talents and purpose. Well, maybe not the purpose part, but the gifts and talents and the intellectual property. The whole purpose behind the book, I mean, yeah, I absolutely want to change the world. I want to do my part in doing that. But I also realize that you can't change the world until you change your communities. And you can't
Right.
change communities until your home life is on point. So the idea behind this book, and there's another aspect of it, is all about community building. I can give you a lot of really technical reasons why we're going to a more tribal, community-based world, both digitally and in real life. And yes, smart cities have something to do with it. But,
Mhm.
but, but, how awesome would it be to have community again? How awesome would it be? And at the dinner table now in America, I'm sure it's like this all over the world, but in America, this is what the dinner table looks like. The whole family's
Right.
doing this.
Right.
What if the family may have their phones in their hand, but what they're doing is they're interacting and having a creative session together, and the mom
Right.
and dad and the kids, they're like basically running this media company together. They're the producers, the directors, the actors, the whatever, the editors, the videographer. They're all playing a role and they're all using their gifts and talents and they're creating together. And I have this crazy notion that a family that creates together will stay together. And you know what? I want to make something clear. I don't care if your family is I don't care what it looks like. I don't care the genders. I don't care any of that stuff. Like family is family. It's who you choose to love and who you choose to embrace and protect and look after like they're your blood. Whether they are or not doesn't matter. Like family is what you call it, and family doesn't have to look like the nuclear family. So
Right.
make that part clear. But it's
Agree.
families need to stick together because in a world where you don't know who to trust, my goodness, what a blessing it would be just to be able to trust your family or just to trust the fact that they have your back. But if you haven't been there and participating in the family and being an active member, and maybe you're holding resentments and you know you're just kind of blowing people off because you're so dadgum busy and you can't go visit your mama or you can't go visit your brother, whatever it may be. Like you haven't done all those things, and then you want them to be there for you when crap hits the fan. Come on, come on. No, you got to invest it. And here's the other thing: if we start investing in our family lives again, I bet the rest of our lives start going better too. Like I bet work goes better. I bet, you know, going for it, pursuing your dreams goes better because when the whole family's involved in whatever that looks like for you, whether it's 10 people, 100 people, 4 people, or 2 people, whatever, but you're doing it together. Like that's how you bridge.
I agree totally. I mean, because I am blessed to be able to be living with my parents. My parents are still with me. They're still married. It's kind of a lot of people don't have that. And they did experience a tremendous amount of trauma. And so what I found because with my foundation, I mean, I want to help homeless. I want to help the mental health community, the cancer recovery, and an advocate against the human trafficking. But I think I've realized is that I cannot help everybody, and I certainly can't help anybody that wants help. And I know that from my own personal standpoint, I didn't get help for my problems until I decided to do something about it. And when I took the reins and said, you know what, I count, and I know that I do count, and I know that everybody that might watch this, you're all special. We all have talents and they're all different. And because of that, and thankfully, I mean, it's my opinion that we're going to be in a better way from a national standpoint now. But that's not what counts. Is what counts is I have a message. If you're not willing to listen to it, that's okay. If you're willing to listen to it, God inspired me to share what I do, and just like but you're just far more intelligent, obviously, than I am, or gifted, or
Please never,
blessed. Blessed.
please never put yourself down to put someone else over. Like I'm smart at what I'm smart at,
Yeah.
but I mean, come on. Like,
Well, you're right about that, because you know what, I am.
teach me a lot about being a man I don't know.
Huh? Yeah.
I'm sure you could teach me a lot about being a man that I don't know, considering I just became one at 45. So
Well,
I mean,
I'm not too far ahead of you, maybe, because I mean, I've had a lot of um I am age wise, but you know, I was blessed my entire life, and that's why I am what I am. And it took me a long time to figure out, because I tried to run it my way. And when I ran it my way, it did not work. It just did not work.
God
And
bless
so
her.
when I turned it over, all of a sudden life seemed to get better. It definitely got better. And I think he inspires it. I think everybody has this within them. Because I believe that we are created by God, and therefore we have everything that everybody else does. And you're right, no one's less than the next guy. And those are things I'm working on, because I was programmed to believe things that really weren't true, and it wasn't intentional. It just happened. you know
What happens when you listen to other man talk?
Right, and if you own what they say, and we can, I think, maybe all have done to some degree, because we all thought we were right. Everybody's right. Um, it's just when you're right with God, that's the most important thing in the universe to me, and everything else should come together, because I'm pleasing God, right?
Uh,
Because of my behaviors, I am truly honoring the Lord. And that's what I do personally. Every morning I start with listening to videos that are spiritual in nature. I listen to stoicism, and that's how I start my day. And so I'm grateful
I
to
don't think
enjoy.
God gives a crap about that.
You don't think he cares about whether we're grateful or not?
No, I don't think
No,
God
of course
cares
not,
about
because
what you listen to and where you
yeah,
go to
no, but
church.
because we have free will, right?
No, I don't think that's the reason at all. I think what God cares about, other than the fact, I mean, the commandment is to love God, with all our heart, mind, soul, and everything, and then love our
Right.
fellow man the same way. And the reason for that, I believe, is because God is inside of us too. That we all have the Spirit of God inside of us. We're
Mhm.
not God, but we have the Spirit of God inside of us. We share that. That's why we're all connected and we're all one. But
In me,
here's
as me, and through me.
what I think God cares about outside of love more than anything. And I
I think
believe that is living for the purpose and living in the purpose he created us for. Because if we are to be obedient if obedience is greater than sacrifice, or whatever that expression is, then obedience is the ultimate obedience, other than being honest and other than loving.
Mm-hmm.
Honesty is loving, is
Mm-hmm.
to live in the purpose he was created for. So anyone that is living a life where they say, well, this job pays me so much money and I'm miserable, but it pays the bills. But if money wasn't an option, this is what I would be doing. You're basically saying that money is your God, and God is not your God. If you are in direct disobedience to the purpose that you were created for, and that is the ultimate spit in the face to God, your creator.
What
Because
I did,
no one in any I would challenge anyone to argue that with facts. If that's a belief.
um, and that's it. I mean, I guess I always okay, that makes sense to me, and so I believed it. Was that true? Well, I didn't do the research to know that it was true, but what I did do is
Wait, what are you saying again?
I was trying to get to the point where I had
Oh,
read this book, and I'm
okay.
trading on names and purpose driven life,
Oh,
and I've taught that a few times. I did that online for people. It's a 40-day thing, and I thought that that was telling me truly what God expects of us, and I believe that He expects us to be of service to the community. And so, therefore, yes, who am I? I am a servant of God. That's what I am. And if I do that, I think that's a um, better than just a go to church kind of guy,
no, but that is living for the purpose that you were created for.
It is, and that is my
And
purpose.
part of serving God is serving your fellow man.
Right. And so that's why I created the foundation to do all of that. Yes.
That to me, that's a beautiful mission. And the world that we're heading into, at least in a lot of communities, your time, your talent, or treasure is all of equal value. Like it has the same significance to people.
Right.
Hello, Caroline.
So
Uh,
yeah, Caroline, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate that.
yeah, time, talent, and treasure has at least in the communities that I'm involved with. That's how they
Yeah.
run. Is time, talent, treasure, and they all function. They've all moved ahead. There's a lot of people have no clue that a whole other world has been being built behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And I'm not speaking like any weird woo woo, like new world, new age kind of thing. No, not at all. I mean, but it is kind of. But there's a literal world and digital worlds that are being built and ecosystems being built that are doing some incredible things for humanity, but they're not like front facing in everyone's face. So a lot of people don't know they exist. But the way that they've functioned and operated is people believing in the vision, giving their time, giving their talent, or even giving money.
Mhm.
And I can tell you that if you're a part of one of those ecosystems, you're about to be very happy because what you've been waiting for is coming like soon.
I
And
believe that.
it's a very exciting time, especially those that have lived sacrificially in service to other people because you felt like that's what God was leading you to do.
Yes.
We're about to find out why.
I'm realizing that yeah, things as I knew it, and I've said this for years, and sometimes I couldn't take my own advice. But I love history. I always have loved history. That was my thing. And I'm realizing that the history that I knew wasn't really the true history, you know?
No.
And and you probably already know this stuff. And it's like
Well, I'm a
this,
conspiracy within a conspiracy theorist, of course.
oh gosh, call me a conspiracy theorist then.
No, I think
Because you know what? I think that this video that I've been watching, and it was the second time around, but I haven't listened through the whole thing because it's like almost 4 hours. But I tell you, it's just like mind blower, and about cycles of life and cycles of history, and I just believe this stuff. But anyways, yeah, we are definitely headed into a new realm, and I am thrilled that you saved me from quitting, number one, and that you are able to help me help myself to own my own content and not just
Intellectual property.
put it out there on for Facebook to maybe censor it or whatever. What the heck? I mean, life's too short. We want to help people, and that's the main goal. Um, so I'll change the subject but it's good. I just love you so much. It's like, okay. So what do you do to prepare for every day?
To prepare for every day?
Do you have a routine?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. The first part of my day goes to God.
Mine too.
Mm-hmm. I yeah, that's the first part. And then my routine, like I have two versions of a quiet time I do. I do one when I first wake up, to feed my mind, because even though I may not be coherent at the time, I want to feed my mind with as many good things as possible. And then I go to the gym, which is like my only time I leave the house because I have to spend most of my time in isolation. And then I do a
I'm
quiet time.
sorry, I'm laughing now.
Well, I mean, I do. The church speakers are too loud, and the microphones like really wreak havoc on my body. Um, and so, but the gym, I do okay with the gym with the headphones I use.
Right.
But when they have a class in the middle of the room and then they use the microphone through a portable speaker, it's
Mhm.
like being electrocuted nonstop, and
Hey,
so it hurts. But I do pretty good at the gym, but I struggle in restaurants. I'm getting better, but I still have work to do. Like I've had the Rife machine go. I had that going most of the time
what
during
does
the
that
interview,
mean?
but it was making the screen, because we were broadcasting, it was making my screen go crazy. So I had to turn it off. So, and I have to be careful, like how much I talk still, because the more I use my speaking voice to talk, the more I make myself trimmer. I'm doing Lauren Harris's show in the morning, and then after that, I'm taking a break for a while because, I want to be able to have the energy to pour into other people. Like I'm really excited with the projects that I have going on with not just the media centers, but the work I'm doing with my students, at St. Anthony's School of Higher Education in Atlanta, and I have students and mentees around the world, and I want to be able to give them my energy, because like I have big ambitious goals for myself personally, but right now I feel really led to pour my energy into other people, because the time is now to go for your dreams. And I've been saying it for a while now, but like it really is time, like now, because things are about to change, and most Americans are not ready for what's about to happen. I know
I
for a fact, because I mean this is my expertise. I know this. I know what other people around the world do and what they're educated with, and Americans are not. And in this, I know America is flying high right now, and or whatever. There's a lot of optimism about the golden age, and I just got to tell you, like there's certain things that you can't change about what's coming, and Americans are not prepared, no matter who's in office, and no matter how golden of an age it's being said it will be. All I can tell you is it's only going to be golden for the people that are ready for it, and most Americans are not. And those are facts. And
mm,
and I can't say it any more serious. And
right.
I've and I think it's time. And here's the problem: people watch the news for their information, but if they're not educated on what the global language is, like for instance, people have heard of the Internet of Things, maybe, but they don't know what that really means. They have assumptions, but they don't know what it means. There's other names for it. But also, there's a word that's been in the news a lot, and I know for a fact that most people don't know what it is, because if they did, they would be freaking the F out, especially with the Fauci pardon, because that would have told you the clue. So the bio bi hold on.
You're doing fine.
Biodigital convergence. Biodigital convergence. You're going to hear of digital convergence, but when you hear the word
Dude.
biodigital convergence, when you hear that word, just know that it means the Internet of Bodies. And that means that you, me, Steven, and everyone else are now connected
Yeah.
to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
We are 6G. Like, in other words, 6G, like, people thought it was going to, the people that knew about 5G thought
Right.
thought it was going to be 5G, but it's actually 6G. And what makes it 6G is that we are connected to the internet. And I'm not making it up. It's easy that you
Yeah.
can look it up right now and read about it.
I love that. See, you back it up with
That's where we're
facts.
going. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, it's not you can't, people say stuff on social media a lot and then don't provide any, they may provide a picture that's been photoshopped, but
Yeah.
like, I'll give you the article to the government website, or the
Right.
study that was done by the organization that is bringing it in. And I also work
Yeah.
with,
Me too.
I work with these organizations that are bringing this stuff in. Like, I'm not,
Yeah.
this is not a, like,
It,
and I'm not even saying that people need to be scared of it. What I'm saying is the whole world's going to change, and it's going to suck for you if you're not ready for it. But
right.
it's not all bad. Like, there's going to be some amazing things. Here's the thing: the underserved populations around the world are going
Yeah.
to have just as good of a shot at success as everybody else. Ex-cons,
Well,
former
that's good
trafficking
news.
victims, everyone's going to have the same opportunity, but
Yeah.
you got to seize it. Not
Yeah.
hand it to you.
Right. It's the action, not words, because you do have to take action on everything. And obviously I need to devote more time to reading thoroughly your books. Um and I look forward to the day that I don't have the regular day job. I mean, I thought that I'd retired from that and pretty much was
Well,
super close to doing nothing.
we
But I'm
created I want to. I'm glad that you said that really quick. I'm not telling people to go out and quit their jobs, but
right.
the problem is that we created this problem with consumerism. Like, we made ourselves slaves to this own system. So the only way to get out is a drastic, bold move, and you might have to do it little by little. But that, what I'm saying is, we were created to live for a very specific purpose, and I would suggest that most of us are not doing that. Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
That's awesome. And I don't know what I was going to say necessarily. I know that we have about 2 minutes left.
Oh,
Um, so I'll give us that two
opportunity,
minutes.
man.
Um, yes, I'm really pleased that you came and shared with us. I certainly had to go back and like listen to this broadcast so that I can learn from it too. And you're so dynamic, Joshua. You truly are, and I do love you, and I love your heart. I think that community, like we talked about, is an important factor, and when we come from the heart, not the brain necessarily, because the brain isn't always right, but come from the heart, it makes a difference. And I think that's what God wants for all of us is to be, heart driven. And when you are, then you don't have to think about what is your purpose. Um, you'll know it. And so, what would you say um, to the viewers in closing here?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I want to go. I literally had like 10 things pop in my head, like God's not done with you yet. Um, like forgive. Like if you know you're hanging on to resentment towards somebody, forgive. Um, regardless of your circumstance. And I mean this. And if you know me, like if you don't know me, read my book, The Devil Inside Me. I'm qualified to make this statement. I don't give a shit what you've done in your life. I don't care how evil, awful, vile, abusive, dark, perverted. Like the minute you give your heart to the Lord, to God, whatever name you want to give it. And by the way, I don't think universe is a name for God because God created the universe. But then again, I don't know God's name either, so I don't want to get on that debate. But anyway, I just want to say though, like everything I've ever surrendered to God, God's done a better job with it than me. And that's including surrendering my life, my heart, my will, my purpose, my desires, even the people I love. And I don't necessarily believe like in the salvation prayers they do at church, but I will say there is something very powerful when you can meaningfully say to God, take my life, it's yours. My
That's
life,
so
my life is no longer my own. And
that's beautiful.
that surrender is a very powerful thing. But let me tell you something about that journey. That journey is tougher than the journey that you were on without God. However, it's the only journey that gives you joy, peace, happiness, and love. I can't say that it's going to make you rich because I don't believe in that. I can't say it's going to make you popular because I don't think it necessarily means that either. But I will say that if you're a miserable human being and you have to get to drink yourself to death or do a bunch of cocaine or meth like me and try to have sex with as many people as possible, if like that's your thing, I mean, I understand that. But if that's what you're doing just to try to be happy for a little bit, and then you're wrecking your life and you're losing everything over and over and over again, you just keep losing everything and you keep screwing everything up. Like if you know that life and you're sick of that, I'm telling you that the journey that you take with God leading the way is more difficult than the life you live in now, but you will have joy, you will have happiness, and you will know what love is. And let me tell you, as somebody that chased every dragon you can imagine, there is something that I am so grateful for of all the things that I've learned in my way to try to rehabilitate my life this last 10 years. Learning to love has been the greatest thing of my life. Learning to be able to love kids,
Mhm.
to love, I mean, to have two amazing kids that, I mean, I'm not living with them now, but I mean, they're still my family and I will be back when I heal, but they're still very much in my life. And then also to know what heartbreak is for the first time in my life, like that sucks, but it's also amazing because if you've never really been able to love before and then like you know with that you get the joy. You can't know the joy of love until you've had your heart broken. And I'm
Right.
45 and I just learned that. But it's all worth it. It's worth because you are created for something better. You were created for a better life, a life of purpose, a life of meaning, a life of value. But it's only when you give your life to God to rule you, to guide you, to lead you, like to surrender your life. That's the way. And it changes everything. That's all I have to say.
That's awesome. Well, that is going to do it for us, folks. We really appreciate you, Joshua. Come back, see us again. We'll be here on Monday nights at 7. So that's it for now. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Joshua.
all.
Yeah. Bye.